As we enter the year 2023, much is on the line in the wrestling world, including the future of the business's biggest names and top free agents, with us also set to find out what's next for a certain AEW World Champion. In today's video, we're going to be using AI to predict the upcoming 365 days to see how everything plays out, at least in the virtual world, whilst keeping track of the biggest stories in wrestling. So how are we going to do this, I hear you ask? Well, this right here is Wrestling Booking Simulator TEW, my personal favorite game, which allows you to become the booker or owner of a wrestling company as you fight for ratings, contracts, television deals, and much more to become the top promotion in the world. Imagine the football manager or the NFL coach of wrestling. And if you're interested in getting the game yourself, head to tewdb.com and click the banner at the top of the site, which will take you to the store where you can buy Total Extreme Wrestling 2020 for yourself. And for full disclosure, I will get a cut if you use the link. But with that out of the way, let's take a look at the game world that we find ourselves in before we jump ahead into the future. So here we are then in the game, and as you can see, everything is up to date as of January 2023, including all the champions. So in this save, I'm not actually going to be taking over any promotions. Instead, I'm just going to be unemployed as Snoop Dogg, and we're just going to sim into the future and see what the AI decides to do across the world. So we have put together a little shortlist just to make it easier to keep an eye on some certain talents that are either having their contracts expire at some point, such as Kenny Omega and the Young Bucks, as well as some current free agents like Kota Ibushi, whose contract expired in January, so I've released him from New Japan, as well as some other people that are signed to companies such as Cody Rhodes and CM Punk, just to see how they get along in the year. So yeah, with that said, let's skip forward a year and find out how things play out. And here we are then on week 1, January 2024 now. So first things first then, and we'll have a quick look at who won the awards for 2023. And Wrestler of the Year was actually Hangman Adam Page, interestingly. Company of the Year was All Elite Wrestling for their continued rise in 2024. Team of the Year were the Young Bucks. Match of the Year was actually Bryan Danielson and Hangman Page defeating Jon Moxley and CM Punk on Dynamite, which is very interesting to say the least. Show of the Year was Wrestle Kingdom in January. The Young Wrestler of the Year was Dante Martin, who it looks like has had quite a run in AEW this year. Veteran Wrestler of the Year was CM Punk, coming in at the age of 45, so it looks like he did return to wrestling after all, and it seems that he did return to AEW. And let's just quickly look at the rest of the awards then, as Mayu Iwatani won Female Wrestler of the Year. And is she still in Stardom? She is. She's got an exclusive written contract to Stardom and is the Wonder of Stardom champion. I wonder if she's gone on loan anywhere with the working agreements. It looks like she has just stuck around in Stardom, no appearances through the forbidden door, so to speak. So Bill Goldberg, who was a free agent at the start of the year, has now officially retired from wrestling. Cash Wheeler of FTR agreed to stay with AEW, and I'm guessing that's the same for Dax. They normally stick together, and that is the case. Edge then, whose contract was expiring with WWE, has decided to leave and retire. Kenny Omega, whose deal was coming to an end, has extended and agreed to stay with AEW. CM Punk, as we looked at earlier, has actually been divorced, which is not good news. Hopefully that doesn't happen. He was loaned out to Ring of Honor and Rev Pro as part of the Forbidden Door. Cody Rhodes then is the current WWE Universal Champion, so he defeated Roman Reigns. We're going to have a closer look at the titles in a minute, but let's quickly run through the rest. So Kota Ibushi re-signed with New Japan. Logan Paul, who I thought would be interesting to keep an eye on, he appeared in the Royal Rumble, which Brock Lesnar won, and then he teamed with Lesnar to defeat Rey Mysterio and John Cena at SummerSlam. Other than that, he's not appeared anywhere else. And Mandy Rose has done the independents. She signed with AAW and MLW. Matt Jackson has stayed with AEW, and I'm guessing Nick has too, and he has. That seems to be the case. Mercedes Varnado is still with Stardom and looks like she was loaned out to AEW at some point. So let's take a look at that. Yeah, she's had a lot of matches for Stardom this year. I mainly want to just see what she's done for AEW though, so we can do that by using the filter. She had a trilogy with Hikaru Shida and was down 2-1, and that's all she's done in AEW thus far. and MJF decided to extend his deal with AEW and got married. As we know, he is currently engaged in real life. So the bidding war of 2024 was won by Tony Khan, it seems. And yeah, we're going to see how his title reign ended up. It looks like he hasn't got the belt anymore. Nick Aldis, who is of course a free agent in real life after leaving NWA this month, joined Ring of Honor and has now left Ring of Honor and is now a free agent once again. Rey Mysterio, whose contract was coming to an end this year, decided to stay. Roman Reigns was dropped as the figurehead of WWE. So Money in the Bank was won by Bray Wyatt in July. We'll see if he did win the title with that in a minute. Royal Rumble was won by Brock Lesnar, as we already know. Women's Money in the Bank was won by Becky Lynch. Women's Royal Rumble was won by Ronda Rousey, her second ever and twice in a row there. The WWE champion is Rey Mysterio after choosing to re-sign. It was Bobby Lashley that defeated Roman Reigns, and then Rey beat Lashley to become a two-time champion. The Intercontinental champion then is Matt Riddle after defeating Gunther in July and has held it since. The Raw Tag Team champions are the Usos. It looks like they did lose it at one point but won it back. They lost it to Kevin Owens and Austin Theory, but yeah, they are the champions again. The Raw Women's champion is Aliyah, who defeated Bianca Belair in July. The SmackDown Tag Team champions then are Drew McIntyre and Omos, quite the random team, and at one point the Usos lost it to MVP and Baron Corbin, who Drew and Omos won it from. The SmackDown Women's champion is Becky Lynch. So as it stands, it's Charlotte Flair with the champion in real life before losing it back to Ronda Rousey, which is actually expected, and then yeah, she lost it to Becky Lynch, so that's not too unrealistic. Apparently plans for a Becky Ronda match have been scrapped for WrestleMania, according to reports, but yeah. The United States champion then is Eric of the Viking Raiders. It started off with Austin Theory at the start of the game, then Drew Gulak won the belt before dropping it to Eric, who appears to be on a singles run now. And of course, Roman Reigns started off as the Universal Champion, and he's lost it to Cody Rhodes. So Cody came back from injury and has defeated Roman Reigns for the title. And for the final title of WWE, Damage Control are still the Women's Tag Team Champions, after dropping them at one point to Natalya and Tamina. Well, let's go to NXT then before we go across to Ring of Honor and AEW, with Apollo Crews as the NXT champion after defeating Bron Breakker, of course the current champion in real life. The NXT Women's Champion is Gigi Dolan of Toxic Attraction, interestingly, and she actually defeated Roxanne Perez, who of course defeated Mandy Rose, the former leader of Toxic Attraction, for the belt. So a bit of revenge there and a very realistic booking from the AI. And now we'll check out Ring of Honor before jumping across to AEW, and the ROH Pure Champion is Samurai Del Sol, of course Kalisto. He has made one appearance in AEW and it looks like Tony Khan's signed him up for Ring of Honor there. The Women's World Champion is currently Big Swole, so she's rejoined the AEW banner, so to speak, and defeated Athena for the belt. The ROH World Champion is Jacob Fatu, and what a signing that is for Ring of Honor, and he defeated Claudio Castagnoli earlier on in the year in July and has held on to it ever since. And the six-man tag champions are JD Drake and the Authors of Pain, formerly in WWE. The tag team champions are also Authors of Pain, so they're double champions now. And the World Television Champion is Bateman, who himself I believe is a former six-man champion, yeah, alongside Dutch and Vincent. As for AEW then, let's see how the field lies over there with the title picture. And the AEW TBS champion is The Bunny, who defeated Britt Baker, who defeated Toni Storm, who was the one to dethrone Jade Cargill. The AEW TNT champion is Malachi Black. Let's see where it went from Samoa Joe. So Joe lost it to Bryan Danielson, and then Danielson lost it to Black. The women's champion is Saraya. So Jamie Hayter lost it to Sky Blue in May, so that's quite the rise for her. And then yes, Saraya defeated her in September and still holds on to it. The AEW World Championship then went from MJF to Hangman Page for his second run with the belt, and he won it in September, and MJF still decided to stay with the company without his bargaining chip. And Max Caster and Anthony Bowens are no longer the tag team champions. The Acclaimed would lose them to the Lucha Brothers in July. So for the Trios Championships then, it was Best Friends that defeated the Death Triangle, and then Jon Moxley, Ethan Page and Scorpio Sky were Trios Champions. I'm not sure that's going to happen. And then Matt Sydal teamed up with the Acclaimed and are now the current champions. The FTW Championship then went from Hook to Wardlow and now to Danhausen, and Sting won the Full Gear World Title Eliminator Tournament, but it looks like he was unsuccessful in his title challenge. And before we wrap things up then, let's have a quick look at the bigger titles from around the world outside of the top 2 promotions, starting with the IWGP World Heavyweight Championship, and it is now held by Kazuchika Okada, who defeated Jay White in March. And just quickly, this game is more than just seeing who the champions are. When you play the games properly, you book the shows yourself, you make the decisions yourself, you make the signings yourself. We're just letting the AI do it in this instance. But maybe we could do some sort of playthrough in the future if there's enough interest, so do let me know in the comments below, and make sure you drop a like on the video and subscribe with notifications turned on, and it's a sign that it would be good for the channel. Either way, let's get to Impact Wrestling then and find out who the Impact champion is. So the Impact World Champion is still Josh Alexander. It looks like he did drop it at one point to Bobby Fish, but Alexander won it back to become a 3-time champion. And I've just been having a look through the database just to finish off, and I've noticed that there are 2 big free agents on the market, and would this be the case by the end of 2024? Who knows? But AJ Styles has left WWE and is no longer under contract and is currently unemployed, and the same for his former New Japan colleague Shinsuke Nakamura, who has also left WWE. And if you're interested in checking out TEW yourself, make sure you head to TEWDB.com and click the banner at the top page, which will take you to the store, and I promise, if you're a wrestling fan, you won't regret it. And before you go, make sure you check out the 10 hottest free agents in wrestling today.